Welcome to the Talk with Clads podcast. Your host is Toniann, an island girl on a journey with her guests to learn about their backgrounds, businesses, passions, experiences, life lessons, and wins. Come and laugh, cheer, learn, and plan with us. My friend, take some time to come and talk with Clads.
Hello world, welcome to Talk with Clads. My name is Toniann and I will be your host for today. We are joined by two special guests. We have a mother-daughter duo. We have Sophia. Sophia and Bursley has 16 years real estate experience in both the commercial and residential field. She is a native of the island of Jamaica and has really been a game changer in her industry. She's joined by her daughter, Toniann, who went to FSU for 4 years and has a bachelor degree in social science with a concentration in economics. She is a recent graduate of Harvard University with a master's of liberal arts and finance. Talk about brains. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I'm going to start with and you both can take the question, I guess.
Okay.
For your journey into real estate, was this something that was planned or was it unplanned?
It wasn't planned. It was, I know I want to do something. I know I didn't want a 9 to 5. And I want something that I can say, I create, I do this. This is me. And I think the decision was easy that real estate would be that choice for me.
Real estate was the choice for you. All right. And Toniann, we had a pre-conversation, which I wish I had recorded. How did you decide on your journey into, because you chose finance, of what your area was going to be and why?
So, like you said, I graduated with a focus in economics from Florida State, but I really wanted to focus on one particular area, which was finance, because there are parts of economics and finance overlap. And then I got, at that point in time, my dream job at Northwestern Mutual post-graduation, working as a financial representative. And I was working with these, financial advisors, and, I was building my book of business and meeting with clients and building up their financial plans. And I realized that I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of finance. And I also loved how fulfilling it was, because I knew that I was playing an important role in these people's lives, whether it be planning for their children or planning for their retirement, whatever the case may be. I just thoroughly enjoyed being part of that. But over time, I realized I just wanted to kind of, I guess, in my personal opinion, broaden my impact in a sense. Not saying that, again, it was so fulfilling, but I wanted to kind of dive into more of the corporate finance part of it and just looking at corporations as a whole and just really dealing with bigger numbers and bigger sets and just challenging myself a little bit more. And that's when I decided to get my master's in finance, because yes, a focus in economics helps and the experience that I had helped, but it wasn't enough to really do what I wanted to do moving forward. So I was getting my master's. Part of even applying to Harvard was my mother, because her whole thing was one of my kids have to go to an Ivy League school. I was like, I'll try. See how this goes. Yeah, and I did the whole, process, took the classes, applied, had the interviews, and miraculously got that email. And here we are.
2 years later.
Yeah, and while in school, I realized that, yes, finance was definitely the place for me. It was definitely something that I really wanted to do. Because normally sometimes, going into school for something, you think you want to do it, and then you take a couple classes, you're like, you know what? No, this is not for me. So, but it just kind of reaffirmed and cemented, the path that I was going to take moving forward.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think going both to FSU, which is a well-known school, and also Harvard, which most people think of as the holy grail of schools, and Sophia being the parent of someone going to both schools and probably financing that on the back end, do you think higher education matters?
You're going to have people that say, school isn't for everybody, which I agree. I don't think there are some people who thrive outside of the academic environment. But for me personally, I just think as Black people and being a Black woman, I feel like there's education, something that someone can take away from you. I mean, owning a business is something they can't take away from you either. Don't get me wrong. For me, though, I don't think I'm like the starting a business type of person. Everything isn't for everybody. So for me, yes, I think higher education matters. I think it's important. I think for the minority community, that's our best way of really getting out of certain situations and dealing with systemic oppression and systemic obstacles is having education. Yes, it's not the end all be all, and I would never say that, but it's a darn good start. And it's in my opinion, it's very beneficial.
Okay. All right. And then Sophia,
I think you thought to do this is another step of breaking generation curse. If a lot of time you have kids, grandkids said I'm the first one to ever go to college. So in a sense, it's sort of break the curse if you have never been or your parents have never been to college. Nobody in the family have been to college. You make that first step. It sort of feel good. You feel good. I know that you can get a better job, and then you'll be much better than your parents financially, economically. You'll be much better, and then it goes on and on and on. And we really need that, especially in the Black community too. So I think I'm a defender of education all the way. Yes, I just think you should. I never say it's not for everybody. I think it's for everybody. Get something. I'm not saying you have to get a 4-year degree, but go and get a skill, something, because you can use a skill and start a job
something
too.
vocational.
Yes. So I just think it's for everybody. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. And a very strong opinion, I should say. So while you were in school, Toniann, and I'll also touch base with Sophia on a different topic because it's interesting for me listening to you having such a high opinion and also being the supporting system for your daughter. But I also think that you did it the non-traditional route. So being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, however they want to pronounce the word, it's still the same thing. You know, your journey itself is literally a book. So I know you say, not trying to change your mind, that higher education is important, but you're successful in your own right, not going the traditional route.
Well, in essence, I did went back to school and I did got a degree. So I think I am saying, get something though, something that you can
fall back on if something don't work out. So if I had in real estate and it doesn't work, I have a degree that maybe I could get a 9-to-5 job. So you have options. That's all I'm saying. Just have something.
Okay.
Yeah. Plan A, plan B. Just have something where you can fall back on too. Yeah.
So given your background, do you see yourself as a 9-to-5er?
No. I'm 9-to-5 with my own company, but I'm not a 9-to-5. No, I can't. No, I'm never a 9-to-5. I always want to have my own time, I'm like autocratic. I just do things and just do it my way.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with 9-to-5s, people.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. It's not everything for everybody. It's not everything for everybody. Yeah, you're going to be 9-to-5. Like you can, but then you could even start your own company after that. You can do a hedge fund after this. A couple more years and you can start your own hedge fund.
Look at Mama.
You have the experience.
Look at Mama, people. That is Mommy's like saying, listen, girl.
Well, you're going to delegate jobs. That's where you start to point fingers. Okay. And now you have the job. You start to
I can still point fingers at a CFO.
Okay.
All right.
That's true.
So we discussed, Toniann, in like your pre-conversation that you have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that plan look like for yourself leaving school?
So like I was saying, I plan on being or becoming a CFO by the time I'm 40. Definitely before I'm like 45 is pushing it, in my opinion.
Listen, that millennial.
Yeah, definitely. The plan is to get there by 40. The average CFO, especially for a mid to large cap company, has about 12 to 15 years experience. Well, 10 to 15 years experience because you're counting mid cap, they're a little smaller, right? So for me, my plan is start off with a influential company, right? Whether it be a Goldman Sachs, whether it be a Boeing, whether it be even an American airline, just a company that regardless of where I go next, it's going to look good, right? Because I know wherever I went, I came from like a wealth of knowledge and it's commendable to an extent, right? Start there. Like I said, no more than 2 to 3 years. That's just me personally because CFOs, they become CFOs because they have experiences in different industries. I think you have more respect as a CFO if you worked in like retail, aerospace, investment banking, and medical field than just someone just spend their entire 12 years in investment banking. It's like, yes, you have that experience, but where's your adaptability? Where's your capacity to switch up the numbers or delegate certain things? Because, in certain industries this works, in certain industries this doesn't work. I think the more knowledge that I have, the more experience that I do have will definitely be able to solidify my goal, becoming a CFO at 40. There are people that get there a little faster. If they get there a little faster, that'd be superb. Again, the plan is to have higher position and do as less work as possible. Because at the end of the day, that's the American dream. You have a nice little job. And yes, capitalism. Unfortunately, you're exploiting people underneath you.
Yep. And blame the immigrants.
And your goal, exactly. Your goal is not to expose an immigrant being an immigrant ourselves.
That's not the plan. But that's where I see myself. And definitely breaking up industries every 4 to 5 years and just working for it and keeping a solid work ethic. So I do understand that I'm going to have to put in some work, a lot of work. Yeah. Especially you don't see a lot of Black female CFOs. That's very rare. You have companies getting sued because of that, the lack of
diversity.
And just in those higher end positions, like those board members or chairmen, you don't see us. So I think that's why I'm also doing it as well, because I feel like there are people who don't see themselves getting that far because they feel like the option's not really there. And for me personally, I've always put the pressure on myself to try to set an example, whether it just be like internally with my family or externally with people that I've just met, because you never really know who's looking at you. You never really know who is possibly downplaying their experience or their knowledge or their capabilities because they feel like there's just no space for me. So you have Black women breaking barriers every single day. And I would just like to do my little part in that and then see what happens moving forward.
All right. So what were some, as you did, you journeyed as a student, what were some non-academic lessons that you learned along the way?
So for me, I realized that I'm very sensitive, right? I'm very sensitive about my craft. I'm very sensitive about what I do and what I speak on or like what I take pride in. And going to Harvard, you have to get out of that because you think you have the capacity or the capabilities to do certain things, and they're there to tell you that you don't. And it's okay to not have that because that's why you're here, So I think for me, I feel like I matured a lot. And I grew a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for that experience because it's not like I'm not going to use the word break you down because it's a very negative connotation, but I think they kind of strip away certain things that I feel like to an extent can hold you back, right? And kind of form you into a more solid individual in the sense of like your like mental capacity and what you can take and kind of just be able to brush things off a little bit more easily because, the people that are going to test you and look at you a certain way or speak to you a certain way. And if you let everything they say get to you, it's going to be very difficult for you to move forward in anything. And that's something that I had to learn while I was there. It took a while, but I learned it. And so I think that's something I learned. I feel like that'd be very beneficial for me moving forward.
Clad's Resources and Consulting values its customers. Our planner Footsteps to My Vision is a 13-month planner that can be used for 5 years. It walks you through SMART goals, SWOT analysis, action planning, and holds you accountable through 3 monthly check-ins. We work only with top-quality materials, innovative designs, and verified suppliers, which are guaranteed to deliver to our high expectations because when it comes to our customer satisfaction, there's no room for compromise. Made with high-quality PU leather and paper planner helps you focus on achieving your goals by giving you a sense of personal and professional satisfaction. Some of the amazing features of this product: Vision Board Planner, luxury pen, 8GB USB flash drive, wireless mouse, ultra-elegant packaging box, available in 5 stunning colors: black, red, gold, pink, navy blue. Material: PU leather. 13-month planner. Elastic band for easy handling. Our Footsteps to My Vision is available at Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, our website, and at Walmart. You may also follow us at www.cladsresources.com, Instagram, Clads Resources, Facebook, www.facebook.com/Clads Resources /.
That's some good knowledge. So, Sophia, I'm going to ask you not about academic lessons, but life lessons. What are some life lessons that you've learned and that you can pass on to our listeners while dealing with different types of clients in the real estate game?
I would say find something that you love. That's number one. Just go out there, find something that you love, and work hard at it. A lot of times people just take a job because they just want to take a job and they become miserable. It's not really what they want, and they've been job hopping. So every 4 months they're in another job because that's not really what they want. So you have to focus and find something that you love, and then you focus. You have to set goals. And that's how your company come in. We have your planner where you set your goals.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so you have to set goals. And every 3 months or 4 months, you visit your goals and you check off where you accomplish and you add more stuff to it. And you just keep focusing and just keep going and just keep going. And work hard at it. Nothing in life really come easy. You really have to go out there and work hard for it. Clients come in different shapes and form, and you have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to not be sensitive, and you have to know that your client come first. And regardless of what they're saying, even if they say anything negative about your client come first. You have to ride that way, baby. You have to.
You get on that horse and you ride it.
No, you can't diverse. You just keep going. And you have to have an end goal. This is what I want to accomplish. And, you just have to take it on and just deal with it. It's going to be frustrating at times. It's definitely going to be frustrating at times. But what is your end goal? What is it that you can tolerate and then what you can't tolerate? And then drink along the way and to deal with it.
So let's take
the bottom line. You have to work hard. Work hard. You have to work hard.
Work hard and play hard. Have that balance.
Work hard. Yeah, you have to do balance.
I'm the play hard part of that.
Work hard and play harder. Yeah, you work hard and play harder. That's how I look at it.
Okay, so let's speak a little bit more about real estate.
Okay.
So right now you do both commercial and residential real estate. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so residential is my main focus. That's where a lot of people, you get a lot of your clients. Everybody buying house, everybody selling house. And that's where you find a lot of competition too. So you have to really, really go out there and know what you're doing. You have to be very smart. You have to educate your buyers. You have to educate your sellers. You have to know you have to let them know what is current in the market. And it's not a 1, 2, 3 because everybody have a different set of goals and opinions and where they want it, what they want to do. And you have to know how to tailor certain program or tailor certain make even decision for certain people in order to get anything done. So it's not a one shoe fit all in real estate. Commercial, it's just different. You only sell it by square footage. That's it. That's it. You sell commercial by square footage. But when you're doing residential, not everybody wants a 2-bedroom house. Somebody wants $1 million house. Somebody wants a $50,000 house. So it's sort of different.
Okay. So what advice would you give to a buyer before they go to a real estate agent? Like what should they have a checklist ready? How do they get prepared for their first home?
Okay. So if you're a first time buyer coming in the market, first you have to know, how much do I want to spend? How much is going to be my budget? What is it? How much is going to be how much is my mortgage going to be every month? So the first thing you're going to do before you do anything else is go to your local bank or your credit union and you do what they call a pre-approval. They're going to pull documents from you and they're going to run your credit and they can tell you how much you qualify for. They will tell you what's your mortgage going to be per month and your interest rate. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing before you buy a house. The next thing you're going to decide, where do I want to live? If you have kids, I want to be in a certain area that my kids is near to school that can get pick up. I don't want to live out of certain school zone. So that would be the second thing. Where your location. And the third thing, now that you know you have your approval, you know how much you budget for every month, is normally a third of your income goes towards your mortgage. That's how they qualify you. And now you know the location that you want to go. Then you find an experienced real estate agent. Now that real estate agent, you bring all of that information to them and they will navigate that part for you where you can find the home of your dream.
Okay. All right. So, being that your daughter is doing finance, how do you think, and what would you say to a first-time buyer about finances?
First-time home buyer about finances, I'll leave that to my daughter. When it comes on to your finances, the bank dictates to you how much you can get approved for. So that is not a part of my job. The finances have to do with the bank. I only do with the principal and the legal part of it, of the document, which is the contract. So the bank would let you know, because you're making X amount of money, I'm only able to give you X amount to buy that house. In regards to your finances, I would let you know, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not, I would say always budget for 20% down. That would take away mortgage insurance. That would give you a better interest rate, and you'll have more equity going into the property. So if you can afford to, I would say 20% down.
20% down. Okay. Now, why do you think for newer, because I see a lot of people when I speak to them, they're saying they're going to real estate school. Mm-hmm. And then you see them a little bit later and they're no longer in real estate school. So what do you think is the biggest reason for people failing or giving up when it comes on to real estate?
It is a very hard business to navigate. You have to be hitting the pavement every day, going out, do your farming area. You have a certain area that you want to sell in. You have to knock on doors. You have to hand out flyers. You have to go out there and talk to people. You have to educate people, let them know what is going on in the market. Now, if you're not that type of person, you're just coming in to say, you know what, I want to sell my brother a house, my sister a house, and my aunt a house, and that's it. That's not for you. You have to know what you're doing. And every corner of the community, there's somebody there that need help, and you have to give them the right information, because you know what? A lot of times, especially single mom or just a regular couple, that is their biggest investment. So a lot of people don't invest like my daughter. You know, go to my daughter and invest. They don't invest, but they buy a house, so that there's their biggest investment. So you want to make sure they're educated going into the process.
Okay. I also, just to kind of co-sign what you were saying, I just think in general it's the work ethic. I think people feel like being a real estate agent is fairly easy. You know, you show a home, people buy a home, you get like a $5,000 check and you're good to go. Mm-hmm. But it's like that you're commission based. You're completely commission based. Yep. And I don't think people really think that through until, okay, well, I haven't sold a home in like 2-3 months and I'm like running low on my funds and I know what to do. And I just feel like for people, once they reach like those like this downpours of their career, they freak out. Like they don't know really how to like just calm down and relax. Okay, like I need to do something to kind of get back out there and meet clients. Mm-hmm. And for me, I just feel like it's the lack of commitment. It's a lack of commitment. It's a lack of just understanding the entire the career in itself, and understand that every day you're going to be closing a home. Not every day you're going to have like a $3,000 to $5,000 check coming. That's not. I mean, for some people, like if you're working for like a big company, then maybe it's like a everyday thing. But realistically, it's not. And it sounds nice, like, oh, real estate agent, super. I feel like it's a little easy. I feel like the barriers to entry in real estate is low. They're low compared to other careers. And that's what people are just like, oh, I'll just do that. Right. But the maintenance of that career is very difficult. It's easy to get in, yes, but it's 10 times harder to maintain.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like, oh, this looks good. It's easy. I maybe go to school for a year, take a test, and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate agent. I'm licensed. And okay, and cool. But then to hold on to that career and commit to it, I think that's what's very difficult for individuals.
Yeah, that's true. And then after 4 or 5 months, they leave it and go find themselves a job, a 9-to-5 job, because they can't take it.
Right. It's the consistency and the follow-up.
You have to perform too. Because if you're doing the job and you're stuck at it, then nobody's going to be interested in making you sell them a house too.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, you have to have reputation matters, be it in a professional 9-to-5 setting, or if you have your own business. It's always about the quality.
People can be able to trust you
of what you do.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when entrepreneurs or someone that's entering a new field of business, they like to calculate the risk and the rewards, right? They kind of overanalyze it. So what would you say, like, when is a time to stop calculating risk and rewards and just go ahead and do what you need to do?
Well, again, it sort of vary, because if you have a one-income household, I would never tell it to do real estate, because I mean, especially if you have mortgage and you have kids and so forth in school, that wouldn't be something you'd want to take on. You probably maybe have 2 person working and at least 6 months of your bills saved in your account before you want to do that. And I would say go with a reputable company that people easily identify you with. Once you said Caldwell or Remax, they immediately they know that company. Right? Yeah. So I would say don't do it if you don't have enough, because sometimes you'll be there for 6-7 months, so you never sell a house. You have your bills to pay, so you'd have to take a second job. But a lot of realtors have second jobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of realtors have second
Most
jobs.
of the ones that I know, apart from you, have a second job.
A second job.
Actually, you're the only one that I know that don't have a second job.
Ironically.
Now that I think about it. So, Toniann.
Well, I have a good person in the background that take care of, so I can go out and do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Support systems are good, and Wade is a good support system.
Yep.
So, Toniann, I'm going to ask you the same question. When do you think it's a good time to stop calculating risk and rewards and just kind of throw yourself into what you need to do to achieve the career that you need to achieve?
So for me, I think it's less like financial based or less like strict like mom is. For me, I think it's mostly just about the passion. I feel like when you're passionate about it, regardless if it's going to fail or not going to fail, you just need to do it because you know it's something that you love.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm sure there are a lot of stories out there that if people just focus on, the risk and rewards, they probably would have never ventured out to what they're planning on doing. Like, the average restaurant, they're a bank over the first 2-3 years, but you have a lot of very successful mom and pop, because I'm sure they struggled a lot, but they know this is what I'm giving to the world. Like, this is my thing. And regardless of how much it's going to, I'm going to struggle. This is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to continue and push forward to get it done. So for me personally, I think it's less on the logical aspect of risk and reward, more on the emotional side, because in my opinion, I think passion is what gets you the farthest, because I think after a while, because you're putting your best foot forward, and eventually you're going to reap what you sow, right? It may not be in the time period or the time frame that you find acceptable or preferable, but I think down the line it will get there. And it's just I think it's more of an emotional thing, more of a passion thing, because not everything's going to look good on paper. And I'm in finance, so I know that. There's a lot of things that may not look good on paper, but if you have the right team around you and the right mindset, you can turn that around, right? Because, when Netflix started out, it wasn't looking that good on paper because you're competing with DirecTV, you're competing with all these things already out there.
Blockbuster, who's no longer in business.
Who's no longer in business. So when they started out on paper, they probably didn't think they were going to get this far. But I'm pretty sure there's someone behind the scenes like, no, I can see this growing. and now streaming services are some of the most profitable businesses, some of the most highest stocks in the market. So
they're actually affecting movie theaters now because now you can stream a movie in your in the comfort of your home.
Exactly. So I think follow your passion because everything's gonna look good. It's gonna looks good on paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be in pursuing your passion?
I don't know. Again, I don't want to sound platitudinous. It's like, oh, just do what you want.
Platitudinous.
I don't want to sound too platitudinous.
Can you spell it for us, please? Is that the Latin version?
I guess when it comes to pursuing your career, just, despite, obviously the passion and all that stuff, I definitely think it would not hurt to just try to do your best to make a solid plan. Try to just know as much as you can about the industry itself. Try to know as much, or try to get a better understanding of where you currently stand in the industry. What are your experiences? What are you bringing to the table that maybe somebody else isn't, right? Like, how can you be innovative in that industry? How can you set yourself apart from other people? Because you're doing this for a reason. Like really tone in and figure out what that reason is, and then and do your research. Because then you don't know what you don't know. And I think you'd be doing a disservice to yourself by not doing that. For me personally, I do believe that, my representation and my perspective on certain things in the finance industry, it's not really, focused on or listened to. So I do think there are times where I bring a different perspective to the table that maybe somebody else might not because of their background, their experience, or whatever the case may be. So, and regardless of who's going to tell me otherwise, I take pride in that because I know I have that. You're right. And I know I bring that to the table. But you have to also believe in that, because if people are going to tell you no, nothing you're saying to me is important or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know who you are, what you've researched and what you've done. So, just definitely try to get a solid plan and understand where you stand in the industry. And then I think once that logic part of that's done, and I think your passion, everything else will take you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally.
All right.
And think outside the box too.
Yeah,
Especially
innovation.
when you're in a crowded field.
Innovation.
Yeah, you have to think outside the box that makes you different, that make you unique, that make people gravitate towards you, that want to come, want to find you, want to get your service. You always have to think outside the box. Yeah.
Okay. So let's discuss influence and its impact on your lives. So who are 3 people who have been the most influential to you both? And I will start with Sophia.
My mom. I think my mom. Well, she teaches us how to work hard, and then you can put your own twist on it. I mean, their hard working is just generic. You go to work, come back, sleep, go back, but then you can figure out a way. How can I do the same thing, but do it better? So I think my mom. The next person that really pushed me is my husband. He really pushed me. I think he knows that I have it, but it's hard for you to sit down, plan, and execute it unless you have. And sometimes you need somebody to say, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can go out and do it." And for the last 16 years, he's been saying, "Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can do it." And that sort of motivate me. And third is my kids. I look at my kids and I see they're killing it. In whatever they want to do, whatever field they want to do, and they're just doing it. They're just doing it. So I would say my mom, Wayne, and my kids.
All right, and Toniann, and I apologize for the outburst.
I think all of my influential people have been more internal than external. So I'll first, again, it's a cliche thing, but definitely start off with my mother. Seeing, where she's come from and the work that she puts in every day. And it's great. So my mother is actually, it's a balance, right? I see the drive. I see the quote unquote hustle that people love to glorify. And I respect that and I admire that. And I like to incorporate that into my work ethic, but also see how it can overwork herself to an extent. And I don't want to have to go through that, right? So she's extremely influential because she's taught me that how to get to that point, but also showed me, like, don't kill yourself for it. Because at the end of the day, I personally feel like you shouldn't have to. So I won't. I just absolutely will not do that. Maybe it's the millennial in me. But like, I would never say don't work hard. You have to work hard. I think you have to work hard to get anywhere you want to go. But at the same time, just don't kill yourself because everyone needs a balance.
That life vibe. Yeah, I fully understand what you say because my mom is the same way.
Yeah.
And because of that, she's missed out on some family moments that you're like, you can't take those memories back, right? Exactly. You don't have them, so you can't even take them back as you were.
You never had them to begin with.
You never had them to begin with, so fully understand.
Yeah. So moving forward with like my children, I want to be as present as possible. Just for my household, I want to be as present as possible. And there's no resentment. There's nothing like that whatsoever. But I feel like, I think coming as like a first generation here, there's a lot of pressure on her to get things done. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So she knew no other way. But like she worked hard so I had other options, right? So I don't have to go down the exact same path. So again, like I respect that and understand that. And then second is my father. Because one thing about Wayne is like, regardless of how hard life gets, he's always like, hey, man, it's all right. It's okay. Like, don't worry about it. Like, he is literally the epitome of going with the flow. Like, he's like, the river and the Grand Canyon that just goes through all the sediment and breaks down. And it's like this beautiful, like, landmark. Mom, thank you. Right? So he's really like showed me that, well, to just not let life get to you too much, because if you let it get to you, it will get to you and it will break you down.
Yes.
And then you will, and there are times because of that you will lose sight of your capabilities and what you can and cannot do because you're so caught up in what went wrong. And life is always going to go wrong. Like it's life, So he's really instilled in me like that mentality, and I'm so grateful for it because for me personally, like I like control. I like things to go a certain way. They don't go a certain way, I just feel like I can't focus, and it's just hard for me to kind of like get back to it. But with him in my life, he showed me another way and how to like better deal with like adversity. And I'm very grateful for that. And I think the third person, I don't know. Again, I feel like my family itself and its entirety, in their entirety, is what really drives me. Just to do better, to continue to do better, to continue to take up space in areas where I feel like people that may look like me think that they don't have the opportunity or the possibility to take up that space. So I think the third, just like in general, like people around me, friends and family, and like in its entirety, and how much they matter to me, and how much because I feel like I'll do a lot of things for other people too, just because I feel like I just have to do my part. I feel like I have to do my part.
You have to pay forward.
So yeah, so that's how.
All right. So what would you say has been the most common sense advice that you've ever received?
I feel like Wayne's. Don't let life get to you, because again, life never goes your way. And we all know that. Like we always say, like stuff happens. Pick yourself by the bootstrap. It's American. I don't know, ideology in itself already too. Just keep working, keep doing your thing. But the next layer of that is like when it doesn't go your way, just don't lose focus. Don't lose sight of who you are and you're capable of, and just continue to push forward. And I feel like for him, that has been very beneficial to me. And again, it is common sense. Like you should always know to bounce back. But bouncing back is a lot easier said than done, especially when you hold yourself to a certain standard. There's certain pressures like that's been put on you, or that you place on yourself. And so bouncing back for a lot of people is just not as easy as we say it is, So, I can attest to that. So
okay.
That's my common sense advice.
That's our common sense. Sophia, what's the most?
I think the same thing too. Yeah.
Sophia, use your mic.
He always said, don't make life get to you, and you can do it. Just keep going at it. Just keep doing it. It will work out.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the voice of reason in this family, right, Toniann?
Yeah.
Both are equally important, guys. We have the work ethic, and then we have the adaptability. Both are equally important.
Both parents are equally important. All right. So it has come the time in the show when I ask my guest this question. What is one question that I have not asked you so far that you would have liked for me to ask you?
Oh, here's my thing, because I've been telling people this. The importance around Ivy League schools. If it can be, I don't know, as beneficial as they say it is, or honestly can sometimes be a burden on the children, or just like the pressure in itself of just like being there. Because to be completely honest with you, because people always ask me like, oh, because you've been there, like, will you, push your children to go to an Ivy League school? And people always surprise me when I tell them the answer is no. And I was like, but why? Like, you're a legacy, because it's difficult. And sometimes how they treat their students, because they know the academic institution they are, it's just not the best towards people, to that person's mental health. Like, every single Ivy League school in this country has the worst mental health rating, because there are times they just don't care enough about their students because they don't have to. Like, I don't really have to care about your well-being, because at the end of the day, I'm Yale, I'm Harvard, I'm Brown, I'm Columbia, I'm UPenn, and I've seen a lot of people struggle to a lot of like mental breakdowns, and it's just not fun. Like, I have a friend whose both parents went to Ivy League schools. One went to Columbia, another one went to like Brown or something, and he got into Columbia. And his mother told him, "You're not going." She's like, he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, the how I was treated and how much my mental health deteriorated, and on top of the pressure of me having to finish, she's like, I would never want my child to go through that. And he didn't end up going because she put her child's well-being in her mind above just having, that name behind your degree. So that's another thing. That's for me. And I feel like people always just, why would you say that? But for someone that's experienced it, like, they ask, would you go back? I'm like, probably not.
Yeah.
And I want to be real about, like, yes, it's commendable. It's amazing. It's an amazing achievement. And I'm very proud of myself. Do not get me wrong. I'm very proud of myself. But to go out of my way, because I've actually experienced it, to push my child to go, knowing, like, the possible, like, mental health, like, deterioration that could possibly happen. Like, if they didn't want to go, I'm just not going to push them. And this isn't, like, no disrespect to any parent, right, that thinks their child should go or anything like that, because everybody has their own thing. I just, me personally, experience with this, but like, if they don't want to, I'm just not going to force it on them.
Oh, wow. That's actually a very, very interesting. I did not see that one coming. Yeah. I really did not.
I did not see that one coming either.
Said the mom.
So mom.
Well,
pushes her child to go
to
no,
Harvard.
I'm just saying, like,
I never see that one coming.
Well, you know what? Mental health is very important,
very
and a lot of times we don't, especially in a minority community, address mental health. And being from the Caribbean island makes it even worse, because we act as if it does not exist.
Yes, you kind of see
so just to hear her address that and give that point of view. From going through her experiences as being a student, I mean, I fully appreciate it. All right. So, Sophia, what's one question that I did not ask you that?
I think you sort of cover all your bases, though.
How about the current real estate industry and the overpricing of homes? And do you think that's going to change anytime soon?
Oh, well, one question would, is the market going to change anytime soon?
Because I got to buy a home.
Real estate is always slow to change. So, yes, it's going to change, but not anytime soon. What we see now is just cash. People up north, they're selling, they're coming down, and they're buying their property cash. So what does that mean? It leave out all first-time home buyers or second-time home buyers who want to buy a house, because I would rather take cash over finance. Now we start to see the market start to cool down, where cash is going away, and that allow people to come back in that with a FHA loan, conventional loan, or a VA loan. It's going to continue for a while because we don't have enough inventory on the market. We're short about 4 million houses. So you're going to have overpricing. You're going to have people bidding on homes, maybe for another 2 years. But then the market going to adjust itself. So the market is slow to change right now. The market is hot, but there's going to be a cool down at some point.
Okay. All right. Well, my voice is going. So thank you so much for speaking with me today. I do enjoy it. It was a very, very good conversation. We'll be happy to have you guys back and actually just dive a little bit more in. But thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening and taking some time to talk with Clads. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Clads Resources and online at www.cladsresources.com. Our planner, Footsteps to My Vision, is also located on our website or on Facebook, Instagram, or Amazon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, keep creating your footpath to your vision.